Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of
the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast.
And here's your host, Jana, and her big brother, Jeff.
Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast, back in your ears on your favorite listening platform. Here we are. No, we're not baseball experts, even though we like to believe we are. We just love the game, and we like talking about it. So you're not going to find out the difference between spin rates between last season and this season and all that technical stuff. It might pop up, but not because of that. It's because we're making fun of it or because we don't get it or because of whatever. But all that stuff that you watch like MLB TV for, so that they can give you that technical breakdown because you got players who lived through all that stuff. I can tell you, I don't remember a single spin rate from when I was in a Little League. I wasn't a pitcher, and we didn't think about spin rates. We thought about seeing the ball, hitting the ball. Doesn't matter what happened with it. We all learned how to hit like Vladdy Guerrero, Sr. If the ball's near you, you can hit it. Anyway. So that's what you get when you tune into the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast. You just get our opinions and our view of the game. Different than everybody else's. Sometimes the same, but mostly different than everybody else's. This week, we're getting to the end. The season is almost over. What happened when Albert and the Cardinals came to play the Dodgers? Was history made? What happened when the Angels went up to Minnesota after a stop in Texas? Did they put a kibosh on the Twins' playoff hopes? I don't know. We'll find all that out and more in just seconds here on the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast. All right, like we said, it is just a couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks, just a little over a week. And in fact, we're going into the last weekend and early week of the season, the last 6 or 7 games. Pretty much everybody is done on the 5th the 5th or the 4th, the 4th or the 5th. Do you remember? It's a Wednesday. I don't remember what day that is.
Oh, it would be helpful if I looked at the right calendar and not September.
Do you remember looking at the wrong calendar, September?
All I know is that once again, I will be able to see 3 games and then I will be blacked out again.
You don't get the Rocky Mountain channel, sports channel anymore for the Rockies games?
No, not anymore. We used to. And then the satellite provider we had got rid of it. And then we got rid of the satellite. And so.
Makes sense. So you're done. Essentially, you have already watched, well, almost. You have one more today. And then you're done for the season. Your season's almost over.
It is almost over.
Unless you want to either listen. You can always listen to the games.
Yes, sometimes I do.
Or you can reset your schedule so you can watch them after. The problem is they're all at Dodger Stadium this time.
Yeah, that won't be happening. I will not be watching 90 minutes after the game.
Do they do it with like all the commercials, or is it just
No, I think they just play straight. I think it's just straight through. I don't remember them putting in the commercials.
I was wondering because I have the MLB TV at least for this season, and I've never watched a game after the fact through that process. So anyway,
I don't know. I'm ready for the regular season to be over. It feels like everyone is just sloshing through, except for those guys in the East. The National League East.
No, they're still playing hard, trying to get there. The Yankees haven't officially clinched the AL East, even though what were they? They were like They're like 7.5 games up on the Blue Jays, but they're playing the Blue Jays. That's as of the weekend. So the Blue Jays are probably the wild card team. In fact, they are going to be a wild card team. But the magic number for the Yankees as we went into the beginning of this week was 2. All they got to do is beat the Blue Jays once. We'll know if that happened when we talk next week, since that will have happened, after the recording here. So,
well, the surprise team, I mean, we have the Dodgers. They have clinched the NL West. They get a first round bye, and they get home field advantage in the National League. The Astros have clinched the AL West. They get a first round bye. The Mets, the Braves, and the Yankees, as you mentioned, they have all clinched a playoff berth, so we'll know that they will be in the playoffs. But the surprise is the Cleveland Guardians. They have clinched the AL Central, and that was big news because that was kind of a crazy race.
Yeah, it was, but the Guardians held tight and played consistently, whereas the White Sox and the Twins both kind of fell off towards the end.
Right. Yeah. So the wild card, as this is the wild card game, has been replaced by the best of 3 wild card series, which is going to be the first round of play. The higher seed in each wild card series will host all the games of that series, whether it's 2 or 3. So that's something different.
No travel days.
No, they play straight through. And then the top 2 division winners in each league, as determined by the best record during the regular season, they get a first round bye. I already mentioned that the Dodgers and the Astros get that bye. That means that they advance straight to the best of 5 division series. That is the second round. And then the 4 wild card round participants in each league comprise the division winner with the worst record among division winners. Did you get that?
I'm sorry, I'm still doing the equation, writing down the math.
All right. So the division winner with the worst record among division winners, and the 3 non-division winners with the best records, that compromises the wild card, and that division winner is automatically the number 3 seed, regardless of whether one or all of the other wild card teams has a better record. That part really sounds like Manfred was in his laboratory and he was making stuff up. He had a big board. So, yeah. Number 1 seed gets a bye to the division series, best record in the league. Number 2 seed gets a bye to the division series, second best record among division winners. The number 3 seed is the third best record among the division winners.
And so on.
And so on, and so on, and so forth, yes. But the league championship, the World Series, that is still best of 7 with home field advantage going to the team with the best record in each series.
All right, so at this point, depending on how the rest of the season plays out, and the Dodgers don't have a full collapse, that will be between them and the Asterix, because the Asterix, the only other team that's over 100 wins on the season, as we came out of the weekend. The Dodgers have tied their season high again, 106. So it'll probably be beyond that. We'll see as we go. And then the Asterix were at 101, I think, when they came out of the weekend. So if we went to the playoff picture right now, say that it ended like you want it to right now.
Right now.
It's over. Report to your playoff locations. Everybody else go home. The American League would set up like this with the wild card series. Cleveland playing Seattle in the 3 versus 6 game. And then the Blue Jays playing Tampa Bay in the 4-5 game. Now, I have one issue with the setup. I know that the division winners so Cleveland gets a higher seed. But Toronto has won more games than Cleveland has. So why doesn't Toronto get? Once you're at that point, unless you're one of the top two records in the league, then it should the other 4 spots should go by records.
Yeah.
Toronto should be the number 3 seed. Cleveland would be the number 4 seed by records, and then Tampa Bay, and then Seattle, which the rest of it kind of falls in place, but
I don't know that doesn't make sense.
Because they won their division, and you got to give the division winner,
right?
Something. It's like, well, be a better division winner,
right? Yeah, be in a better division.
There you go. Well, in college football, if you don't like the division you're in, you can always either go independent or seed. Just because, like out here recently, and we've seen it in the past too, that the teams are leaving Big 12. The USC and UCLA is leaving the Pac-12 to go to the Big 10.
Yeah, and Oklahoma and Texas
are going to the SEC, right?
Yeah.
They want to be in a better league.
Yeah, so they just we're leaving, and it's going to be this year. It's a 2025 for OU, but wouldn't that be crazy if you could do that?
Yeah, what league would everybody be in? They'd all want to be in one or the other. Maybe we could make it go back like when I was a kid. There was the AL West and the AL East, and before that, not long before that, I think when I was born, they were still all they hadn't split divisions. The American League was the American League, National League was all there, and then whoever won, each one went to the World Series. There were no playoffs, per se. The National League has the 3 versus 6 game is going to be the Cardinals versus the Phillies. Like I said, if it all is over today. And the Braves will play the Padres. And then, of course, the Mets and the Dodgers get the bye in the first round. The Mets would be waiting on the winners of the Cardinals, Phillies. The Dodgers have the Braves or the Dregs. So either a matchup with the team that they had to play last year on the road to the World Series, or team that they have to play a lot during the regular season. The Padres.
One of the things, too, it's not as complicated as the NCAA tournament in March, March Madness, but you still can print out brackets and post it on your refrigerator and fill them out just to keep it all straight.
All right, so we said that the season ends on the 5th. Actually, we didn't say because somebody was looking at the wrong calendar. And then I didn't pull up a calendar.
Yes, I think it is the 5th because the postseason gets underway on Friday, October 7th.
Yes, then that makes sense. Okay, so they're going to start up on the 7th. You're going to see the AL and NL wildcard games. Both of them from both sides are all going to happen. It's not going to be like National League one day, American League the other day. No, it is going to be a full day of baseball on all 3 days, the 7th, 8th, and the 9th, with all 4 teams playing. And then the winners will move on to the division series, which will fire up on the 11th. So at that point, they're going to get a travel day to go to wherever. So just the winners of the wild card games will move on to take on whoever ends up. So it'll be probably Dodgers, Mets, unless something happens with the Braves moving up in there. And that's really where the flip-flop would be, is the Braves and the Mets. And then the Asterisks and the Yankees are pretty much locked in. It's going to take a big collapse from the Yankees for Toronto to overtake them. And then and right now, as of the weekend, the Mets' magic number was 8, and the Braves are within a game. And as I recall, they still have one head-to-head matchup. So we'll see. That one might come down to the wire. Still don't have, not everybody's locked in yet as far as the spots, except for Atlanta. As far as the wild card goes, Atlanta's the only one who's actually clinched a playoff spot. And see, that's another one where Atlanta's won 96 games this season. The Cardinals have won 89. Shouldn't Atlanta have a higher seed?
Again, it's that
And
Central.
fewer
I think they
fans
should
out
just
there.
get rid of the Central division. It's a weaker division. St. Louis and Milwaukee have been going back and forth, but by this point, Milwaukee is not going to. I guess they could, but
Well, where are they? Milwaukee is right on the edge,
yes.
kind of looking in.
Mm-hmm.
They're on their tippy toes trying to look into a window. They're a game and a half out of the wild card. So at this point, well, as of the weekend, they would have to hope that the Cubs beat the daylights out of Philadelphia while they beat St. Louis.
That's a tough one.
Right. So that'll be tough for sure.
Yeah.
So, it's at this point, I'll tell you this, it does seem like, because not everybody's locked in yet, just a couple teams, in the past, I think we were already done. We already knew. We were just playing out the last week of the season with nothing to be decided.
Yeah. I think this year's Giants Dodgers is the Braves and the Mets. They're, coming down to the wire, just like the Dodgers and the Giants. They were so close. So, but the wild card series is going to be on ESPN, on ABC, ESPN2, all the ESPN app, ESPN.
All the Disney-owned channels.
Yeah, ESPN Radio.
Is it on Disney Channel?
Oh, I don't know. That'd be really cool.
That
would get
grow the audience.
Yeah.
And you know how, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've noticed for the last couple of seasons, the NFL, and I don't know if it's on both the channels that do it, because normally CBS and Fox have the NFL games like during the day on Sundays, but they have like an illustration of the player. So when they go to show them, the quarterback, and he's in some sort of a pose, or maybe he's just, but he's always like they took like the filter thing or something where it makes it look like an illustration, not the actual picture. Maybe they could animate like the video game Backyard Baseball, where it was all the kid versions of the major leaguers.
Oh, right, yeah. Put that on Disney
instead of Big Papi.
Yeah.
So they could do that, set it up so that they're animated. There's got to be a way for them to do that real quick, and then have the games on Disney Plus animated like that. And maybe that's how you start bringing in some kids to the.
Another SRBB marketing idea.
And that they could, who I don't know who is big on the shows there that are, I couldn't tell you. I don't watch Disney Channel, but whoever the big the kids are, or the characters on any of the shows, what was it, Hannah Montana back in the day, or Lizzie McGuire?
That's way back in the day.
But those are the ones that pop in my head,
right?
Mickey Mouse Club or whatever. But they have different things. They had the Sweet Life guys, the twin brothers or whatever, that did that, and I know that that's old because one of the twin brothers is actually on Riverdale as Jughead. So but they could take whoever's playing now, I mean, on the shows that are popular on Disney Channel right now, and have them, just like they do on Apple TV, they pull the worst off of MLB TV to call the games. Then
Don't get me started.
Right. But they could do the same thing and have those kids call the games. And then that way they're like talking to the other kids. The kids are interested because Allie and AJ or whoever, I don't know. The other ones I could think of was like Nickelodeon, but they're even old too.
Yeah.
iCarly, I don't know.
I know, but think of
like 40
look
now.
at this
I don't
bubbling marketing for MLB to grow the audience. So wild cards on yes, all those Disney-owned stations, and then the division series for the American League and National League will be on Fox. Actually, the National League division series will be on Fox or FS1, and TBS gets the American League. And then National League Championship Series, which is presented by Lone Depot, is set to begin on Tuesday, October 18th.
I'm sorry.
That will be televised on Fox. And then American League, again, is going to be on TBS. And then the big show goes back to Fox.
Fox, because Dodger announcer extraordinaire will be calling the World Series this year, regardless of who's in it, with Joe Davis. Took over for Joe Buck, because you got to have somebody named Joe.
That is the key. You got to be Joe. Got to be Joe. And World Series is, if everything, if 7 games are necessary, it'll go through November 5th. So we'll have lots more baseball to talk about. But I'm ready. I am ready for the postseason.
Apparently, because you're ready for everything to just end right now. Shut her down.
Just done.
Well, it is kind of, but at this point, it's like the Dodgers and the Padres are playing. The Dregs, I guess, are kind of playing for something to hold on to their playoff spot. But the Dodgers aren't playing for anything, getting themselves set for the off season and who are they going to play, and which we'll talk about as we go. If you follow our Instagram, and what's the address of our Instagram, or what is, that's not the right term either, is it? I'm sounding like I'm really ancient today.
It's at Sibling Rivalry BB, and that is with the A, because we also have a Twitter account, which is at Sibling Rivalry BB, but without the A. So on the IG, put it with the A, at Sibling Rivalry BB.
What all the kids are calling it now?
I know, I just came up with that.
And they look at
the
at those things on the line.
On the line. I put it on the gram.
Put on the line. Oh yeah, exchangeogram. All right, another Instagram moment. Anyway, if you checked it out, I got to go out to the Dodgers Cardinals game, and while during the pregame ceremony, Justin Turner was announced as a nominee for the Bob Feller Active Valor Award. Now, I don't know how I'd never heard of this, but it's been going on, I think, since like 2013 from their website, I can see, which is activevaloraward.org. And there are military members from the Navy and the Marines that each win something from that. There's Hall of Famer that win, and current players, active players, that will win as well. So we're talking about the nominees for these for this award. Now, we talked about last year, I think it was, when we did the Veterans Day special, we talked about different players who were veterans. Bob Feller was the first professional player to volunteer for World War II. Nobody else had done it. The day after Pearl Harbor, he went down and went in the Navy.
Yeah, and he was aboard the USS Alabama. He was a gun captain, and he, during his time on board the ship, he fought in both World War II theaters, so the European and Pacific, and earning 8 battle stars. And he was released from active duty, and he was a chief petty officer when he was released, and then he went back to pitching.
But before that, he was he went and he taught. He was like an instructor.
Yeah.
He didn't go right. Oh, okay, I'm done serving, doing this. Here, I'm going to blow some people away. As a gun captain, I'm going to go teach people to be gun captains. And then once that was done, once World War II was done, he went back and picked up where he left off. So it's pretty incredible. You got to check out, his story. You can find it all there on the website for the Bob Feller Active Valor Award. Now, the one thing that I'm not sure why, if this is the Active Valor organization's thing or if it's MLB, but we can't, it's hard to find who the nominees are for the active players. The reason that this came up is, like I said, I didn't really know that this existed, but Justin Turner was announced along with 4 Navy chiefs as nominees. So Justin came out and met them, and then he got a little plaque that said he was a nominee. The only other player we found out was, through looking, is Mike Trout for the Angels. So we at least covered our teams.
But we don't know who else. Despite
you thought you had found Byron Buxton from the Twins.
Byron Buxton, is also a nominee. And this award is really unique because it recognizes, it's the Bob Feller Award or Active Valor Award, because it recognizes different parts of his life. His major league career, his service in the Navy as a chief petty officer, and his and him being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So the award will be presented to an active MLB player, a chief petty officer, and 1 member of the Hall of Fame. And it also recognizes the foundation, the Bob Feller Active Valor Foundation will also recognize a group of sailors that are 18 to 25 years old who have most effectively worked together as a team to promote peer-to-peer mentorship. And I think that kind of goes along with Bob Feller's mission as after he, wasn't serving on the USS Alabama, but he was teaching and mentoring other sailors. So there's also that aspect. We do know that the Hall of Fame nominees are Whitey Herzog, Wade Boggs, Robin Yount, Trevor Hoffman, Mariano Rivera, Nolan Ryan, and Carlton Fisk. And something we also know is that it will be presented at the Navy Memorial in Washington, D.C. on November 16th.
We don't know who else is going to be is nominated, but we know where. And that's more than we know about the Roberto Clemente Award, which, that brought up. I was thinking about that when I saw that he was, JT was nominated for that. We just talked about JT last week with the Roberto Clemente Award being his work with veterans. And a lot of these all have some work with veterans. In fact, I think that's one of the things that is kind of a given. It's part of, the things that they do. Is what gets them nominated because of work with veterans groups and such.
Yeah, and we know that just being more familiar with JT and his work, we talked about the Veterans Resources, through the Dream Center, and additional organizations that his foundation works through. But also at every Dodgers game, there's a veteran that's recognized, and he always makes a point to go and meet them, talk to them. And he also, a lot of times, if you're obviously in the LA area, will give out tickets specifically to veterans. So,
Right. So whoever wins from this year will join a pretty impressive list of Hall of Famers. Yogi Berra was the first recipient back in 2013. Tommy Lasorda won it. George Brett, Rod Carew, Tom Seaver, Johnny Bench, Randy Johnson, Brooks Robinson, and Joe Torre all got. Joe Torre was last year's winner from the Hall of Fame group. Now, this is interesting, is that typically when you see winners of awards, the names of the players, the active players, they're bigger names, you would think, because there's the ones that stand out. But what's interesting is that's not the case with the past winners, with the exception of a couple. Justin Verlander, first winner in 2013. Nick Swisher, kind of known between the A's and the Yankees. Jonathan Lucroy, catcher, who was was Angel for a little while, but other teams. Brad Ziegler, Aaron O'Day. I've heard of them, but only because I pay attention to baseball, you know. Sean Doolittle, he's a little better known. Ian Kennedy, who played for the Red Sox and the Angels. Craig Stammen, who I think is this year's, was it this year or last year? He was nominated for the Clemente Award.
He's nominated this year for as the Padres rep.
And then I'll have to look this guy up, but the 2021 winner is Griffin Jacks. Who is Griffin Jacks? I don't know. Let's go to the tablet. It was a race. And because I diverted you and made you go do something else while I was finding him. James Griffin Jacks, pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. He's just made his debut last season, 2021. He is also an officer in the United States Air Force Reserve. So maybe that's what stood out for him, that he's both a player and in the reserves.
Yeah, he graduated from the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And in order for him to, with his service commitment, he remained on active duty in 2019. And he is a captain, as you said, in the Air Force Reserve. So, but his wife is active duty, and she is a captain in the Air Force also.
Yeah, I bet you at home she's the only captain. I am the captain now. I was impressed by this, and I felt like, how is it that I missed this all this time? That there was the Bob Valor, and it's been going on long enough that it shouldn't. It's not like it's a brand new award. So, and then even though we're not announcing them, there are Navy Chiefs and Marine enlisted as well, gunnery sergeants, first sergeants, stuff like that are all winning, each won an award, that season as well. After each year, it's easy for me to say. So there's a lot of nominees, and it looks like it's a pretty big function that they put on to give out these awards. So pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And one of the things I really like too is that the enlisted members of the services are being recognized because they are the backbone of the military. And so for these guys to be recognized from the Navy and the Marine Corps is pretty special.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Well, I don't know what happened during the Dodger segment, Dodger Week. I only got to watch 3 of the games, and I know what happened in those 3 games. And one of the games you were at. The other games don't matter. They just played the Diamondbacks
5 times.
5 times they did. They started out with the Diamondbacks. Kershaw was on the mound. Goes 6 innings, 6 hits, gives up 1 run, 10 strikeouts. Jumbo Jack mentality. That's what we like. But the Dodgers, the top guys, you had Mookie Betts was 0 for 4, Freddie Freeman was 0 for 3, but it was Joey Gallo who had a home run, and CT3 who had a home run in this game.
Lux, 3 hits in that game.
Yeah, Gavin Lux was 3 for 4. Max Muncy had a double. Cody Bellinger had a double. So it was the bottom part of the lineup that was shining in this game. The Dodgers win the game 5-2. Craig Kimbrell, we got to talk about him. He pitched an inning, gives up a hit, gave up a run. It was a single. He hit 2 batters back to back. And he loads the bases, and then he gets a break because Sergio Alcantara grounds into a double play. Arizona scores, but the Dodgers are able to hold on and win 5-2. But that performance ultimately, I think, started to be his demise.
You really think that was the start of it?
Well, not really. I don't know. It definitely wasn't the start of it. I think it was putting, they were putting the nail, getting ready to push, hammer that nail into the coffin on the closer role for Craig Kimbrell. Dodgers play a doubleheader with the Diamondbacks the next day. And the first game, Dodgers looked really bad. I mean, Will Smith had a home run, and that was about it. And it wasn't until the 8th inning where the Dodgers scored 5 runs. They come back to beat the Diamondbacks 6-5. So it was an exciting game for those in attendance at the afternoon game. Michael Grove was on the mound. He pitched 5 innings. He gave up 5 runs, gave up 2 home runs. And then Ryan Pepio came in. He pitched 3 innings. He gave up a hit, but no runs, didn't give up any home runs. And then Chris Martin finished it out for the Dodgers. But yeah, once again in this game, and it was a pinch hit home run that Will Smith hit. Austin Barnes also had a home run in that game. He was 3 for 4, 2 RBIs. Miguel Vargas was 2 for 5 in that game. Trace Thompson had 2 RBIs in that game. He was 2 for 4. So, yeah, this game, though, if you watch the highlights or if you watch the game, but definitely the highlights, it looked like the Dodgers were just kind of going through the motions in this afternoon game. But they win it, so you think, okay, going into the night, the second game, going into the night, you got Tyler Anderson on the mound. This will be a good one. And the Dodgers end up losing 5-2 in this game. Like I said, Tyler Anderson was on the mound. He goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, no home runs, had 6 strikeouts, but it was Phil Bickford who gave up a run, and then Justin Brule, who also gave up a run. Phil Bickford gave up a home run. And it wasn't for lack of hits, but the only real scoring that happened in this game was Max Muncy's 2-run homer, and that was it. So in the doubleheader, they split with the Diamondbacks, and then the next day, you got Dustin May on the mound, and he has been back and forth because he had that great outing in San Francisco, and then this came around, and He did not have such a great outing. Didn't give up any home runs, only had 4 strikeouts, but gave up 7 hits and 5 runs. He only pitched 4 innings. But it was Madison Bumgarner who shut the Dodgers down. Classic Mad Bum, 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, only 1 run, and that run was a home run to Mookie Betts, had 5 strikeouts. So I'm sure that the Diamondbacks were happy to see Bumgarner back in form. And is he still going to pitch? He'll probably pitch next year with the Diamondbacks, I'm assuming. I don't know. I always feel like, didn't he retire? Isn't he going to retire? And he might be younger than he seems, right? He seems 30. A lot older to me.
Yeah, he's just been around for so long.
But so in this game, it was all about, like I said, Mad Bum, and he shut him down. Muncy wasn't in the lineup, so I don't know if that would have made a difference with his old pal, Madison. So Dodgers lose that game 6-1. And the one thing too is there was a lot of just in this series with the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers look sloppy. They had, errors. I think in one of the games, a throw from the outfield, Trey Turner got hit by that throw. Just a lot of just sloppy play. So we go into the last game with Arizona. Julio Urias is on the mound, pitches 5 1/3 innings, gives up 3 hits, only 1 run, has 5 strikeouts. Phillips, Vesia, and Gratterall, nice to see Bazooka back, all held because it was tied. And it was Craig Kimbrell. And this is really the final decision, I think. It wasn't the beginning. It's not the middle. This is it. He pitches 1 inning, gives up 1 hit, 1 run, but gives up the home run. And Arizona goes ahead 2-1. So he's not doing his job, because what are you supposed to do when you're the closer? You close the game. You
don't give up a home run to Christian Walker.
No.
You strike Christian Walker out. You get him to ground out. You get him out.
Yes, you get him out. And he did not. And right after this game, or I say maybe the next day, it was announced that Craig Kimbrell is no longer the official closer for the Dodgers.
Which probably should have happened before this. But it did make a lot of people ask that questions like, why now?
Yeah, I mean, he was given multiple, nope, he's our closer. He'll come around. It's going to work. And I think the closer you get to postseason play, really everybody, despite who you are, is kind of on an audition. I mean, obviously there are guys that are, they're automatically going to be on that roster. But I think for him, he was more of an audition. There was more of an audition going on. Maybe he didn't realize how serious they were.
To compare Kimbrell with the guy he technically replaced, Kenley Jansen. Kenley, 5-2 with a 3.51 ERA, over 59 innings pitched, has a 1.085 WHIP, walk hits per innings pitched, 77 strikeouts, walked 21. He leads the NL in saves with 37. Is number 2 in all of Major League Baseball. Only Class A out of Cleveland has 2 more. He has 39. Kimbrell, 6-6, 4.07 ERA, over 55 innings pitched, 1.319 WHIP, struck out 65, walked 23, and he has 22 saves. And you can tell by the fact that he has a 6-6, which means that he's picking up a lot of losses there. Sometimes he gets some wins, but it's just he's not been. And this time he was at home.
He had the song.
The Let It Go could have been played. It wasn't like when he was in Arizona. I think it just ran its course.
I think it did, and they even had new graphics up on the board on the Jumbotron, with the Frozen theme when he comes in. But I think he needs to pick a new song. Maybe that is what's going to happen, because it's gone. It was let go, and he's no longer in the closing role.
It didn't help either that in that game they were facing Zach Gallen, who's been on fire. He goes 8 innings, only gives up 2 hits and 1 run, struck out 13 Dodgers. So that didn't help either.
No, and Mookie Betts was off that night. Trey Turner was 0 for 4. Freddie was 0 for 3. But then JT, Joey Gallo, Gavin Lux, Trace Thompson, all 0 for in that game. Max Muncy was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a double. Will Smith had a triple. Belly had a double. But I said Mookie Betts wasn't in the lineup, but he did come up to pinch hit, and he hit a walk-off single, and the Dodgers win that game 3-2. So
nice. So that's it. They don't play the Diamondbacks again the rest of the season, so it's over for them. Diamondbacks go back and do whatever. The Dodgers
swim in the pool,
right?
Clean the pool.
Clean it. That's what they got to do now. When you don't win, you have to clean the pool.
You got to clean the pool, make sure it's chlorinated properly.
Exactly. So the Dodgers welcome in the St. Louis Cardinals and Albert Pujols, and this first game was really about ex-Angels.
Yeah, we had Andrew Haney on the mound. You had Jose Quintana on the mound, and Albert Pujols at the plate.
Exactly. So they honestly, I think we only need to talk about one thing in this game, because the Dodgers did nothing.
Yeah, it was a shellacking.
However, Craig Kimbrell did come in the 6th inning. The damage was done by then, but he did pitch a scoreless inning. So,
there's that.
Get him used to where he'll probably be pitching.
Right.
The rest of the
Maybe
rest of the
feel
way.
more comfortable and get to which is
Freddie
good. I
Freeman,
mean, you got to look for the bright side.
Okay, sure. Freddie Freeman out, not feeling well, I guess. And then Trey Turner, Lux. Trey Turner started, and then they pulled him out early as the game was getting away from him. Lux came in, had 2 hits in his place, but the night belonged to Tio Alberto, who came in at 698 home runs. There was a prediction that at the beginning of the season, way back in April, and I feel bad because I don't remember the guy's name. But
Greg Amsinger.
Right. He said Albert's going to hit number 700 on a Friday night in Los Angeles. September Friday night in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he had that crystal ball going or something.
He read ahead in the script.
I think so.
So Albert comes out and not only smokes 699, I mean, he hit a monster shot for 699. Comes up in his next at bat and settles the whole thing. He hit number 700. One of the coolest moments, and I missed it by a night. Now, I didn't go specifically to see him hit number 700. That would have been cool, but I had gone on the Saturday night versus trying to get in on the Friday night because it was bobblehead night.
Yeah, and that really is way more important than some guy hitting 700 home runs. I mean,
Right.
come on.
So I was hoping Albert would hit like 701 or 702 or something while I was there, but that didn't happen. We'll talk about game 2 in a minute, but we might as well just finish up here. 2 for 4, 5 RBIs for future Hall of Famer Albert Pujols. It was really his night. It was the Cardinals' night, 11-0.
It was ridiculous. Haney, like I said, was on the mound. He only goes 3 2/3 innings, gives up 4 hits, 4 runs, had 5 strikeouts, didn't have that jumbo jack mentality, and gives up, will always be in the record books as giving up home run number 699. After the game, they asked him about it, and he said, yeah, a few days, after a couple of days, they'll probably be, okay, that's pretty cool. Right now, it's not that cool. He did not look. The whole thing with this game is there was so much attention, and rightly so, on Albert Pujols and the, making it to 700 and being in that 700 club, that everything else, of course, was overshadowed. The Dodger fans, we all love Albert, Tio Alberto. He was very much a part of the team, played more of like probably a mentor role with the team, but it was like Albert Pujols night at Dodger Stadium. And with the score, it was almost like the Dodgers knew, like, all right, we're going to be, it's going to happen here. And it was almost as if there was a script.
Right.
If you go into Planet Head conspiracy theories, it would be that this was fully scripted. Phil Bickford gave up number 700, and it's kind of funny because I think the Dodgers obviously were excited for him, and Dave Roberts, it's almost like he forgot that he wasn't on the Dodgers anymore, that Pujols didn't play for the Dodgers, because when he hit number 700, he got up on the top step, and then he was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, darn, wrong team. I had texted you and said, because he was hugging everybody, of course, on the Cardinals side. And I said, he needs to go run out to the mound and give Phil Bickford a hug. Because he really just kind of, I didn't say lobbed it in there, but he had 2 really good pitches to hit. Phil Bickford did say after the game, okay, at the time it hurt because I came in and I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the pitcher that gave up 700, but he is one of the nicest people I have ever met. And so to be part of this is pretty cool. So I thought that was nice. He, looked at it beyond the, the shellacking that the Dodgers took from the Cardinals.
Well, it's history.
It's history.
Albert is sure he's the 4th player in MLB history to hit 700 home runs, but he's only the 2nd player to have 7 home runs and 3,000 plus hits.
Yeah, him and Hank Aaron in a nice club together. It's very exclusive. It's only 2, 700, 3,000.
Exactly. So we move on to game 2. That was the game I went to. Had a great time. It was a fun game, especially for Dodger fans, because Will Smith, Trace Thompson, and Miguel Vargas all with home runs.
And Miguel Vargas hit his first major league home run. Yep. Did get the ball back, but there was some bargaining that happened. So the guy that caught his home run ball, the first one, he did give it back to Miguel Vargas, But in exchange, he got 3 signed baseballs signed by Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, and Julio Urias.
Not by Miguel Vargas?
No.
I don't care about you and your first home run. I care about these other guys. Well, at least those guys were willing to do it.
Yes.
Apparently, the guy who caught number 700 is not giving it back.
No, I mean, would...
but I don't know. I think that it's like, what am I going to do with it? Not to say that's not important, and I've got number 700, but what could I trade? I could give that back to them, and those guys will give you stuff back for something like that.
Yeah.
Why not? What am I going to do? I'm going to have that ball, and especially for like me, people come over. I'd rather have an Albert Pujols signed baseball than just have the number 700 baseball, because people are going to go, yeah, whatever.
Well,
it's not authenticated.
Right. It had to be authenticated. And if it wasn't, then it could just be any baseball. See, I'm the same. I would definitely, if it had been me, I definitely would have given it back. I know, like you said, you're going to get something back in return. But if I kept it, I'm not going to auction it. I'm going to keep it. Like I'm going to, I'm not going to auction it. So why not give it back to him? And then I can have, a bat or something that he signed, and that's cool too.
Maybe a picture with him.
Right. Something. The same thing happened. I mean, look at the contrast between this guy, whoever it was, and the kid that caught Aaron Judge's home run, his 60th home run. He didn't ask for anything in return. It's like, here you go. This is a big deal. Did get a lot in return. Got a photo with Aaron Judge and other things. But I think that's the kind of mentality that you have to have. If you're a true baseball fan, you're giving that ball back.
Right. Anyway, so great night for them. Kershaw on the mound goes 6 innings, gives up 7 hits, 2 runs, strikes out 7. And now there wasn't a moment, and I kept thinking, how did I miss this? Because I never left my seat for the whole game, where Clayton goes to throw to first base and loses the ball behind him. Well, and then I realized what happened. The people in front of me had been up buying their $18 can of beer. And when they came back, everybody stood up because it was a guy further down the row. And that's when it happened. All of a sudden, somebody's at first base. And I'm like, what happened? They had all stood up at the wrong time. And I was like, the one great thing about going to see hockey games is that when the puck's in play, nobody moves. You don't get up and move. People will beat you up in the stand if you do that. So as long as the puck is moving, once there's a dead spot, then you can get up and come in. It's like being to the theater. They keep the drapes closed until there's a break or something. Or if you don't get in, you're stuck until intermission or until the first act's over or whatever.
They should do that, but they would be holding a lot of people up on the concourse and say, okay, between innings, you can come down. No, I'm for that. I don't, very rarely do I ever leave my seat during a game. In fact, never. And we get everything, beforehand, drinks, whatever. And then in the middle of the inning, go, you have a system, right? That you can do it. It reminds me the little bit different situation of going to Arlington to see the Rangers play. I was there with Mom and Dad, and you know how we had pretty good seats, and there was a group of businessmen there. They had their tickets. They were probably taking clients out to the game. They were not watching the game. They were talking the whole time. And we're trying to watch the game. And it was distracting. So Dad says to them, hey, and you could tell other people around them were like, would you guys shut up? We're trying to watch the game. We don't care about your profit margins or whatever you're talking about. Dad says to them, hey, I got a piece of paper and a pencil. Why don't you write a letter and you can pass it down the row? And everybody started laughing, and they were quiet the rest of the game.
Nice. So
But-
the Dodgers take that Saturday game, even with his little goof there, 6-2. Jordan Montgomery, who the Cardinals picked up from the Yankees in a trade at the trade deadline on the mound. Not a great night for him overall. 4 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. Bright spots for the Cardinals were that Albert did play that night. He just only got a single.
But you did witness his 3,378th hit.
Yes, I did. And then while he was out on base, because they had him moved up to hitting second both nights, he was Nolan Arenado hits a home run, scores the 2 of them, and that would be the 2 runs that they picked up. So
I was going to say, Miguel Vargas was playing first base that night because, again, Freddie Freeman was under, not feeling well. And Albert Pujols congratulated him on his first home run. And Miguel Vargas said, you could see them talking, but he said, I didn't even know what to say. Like, it's, I just hit my first home run and he's hit 700. So I guess kind of cool moment for Miguel to be congratulated by a member of the 700 club.
right, Pat Buchanan. So the next day we saw 2 more of the Cardinals legends out. Albert did come in and pinch hit at one point, but was not in the starting lineup as he has been. But Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina both in, and Yadi didn't play the other 2 games.
Yeah, but he is the battery mate for Wainwright. Now we know Albert Pujols is retiring. We know Yadi is retiring. Adam Wainwright has not. He said, "I think I got another season or 2 left in me." So, but I have to tell you, when I heard the pitching matchup for this game, that it was going to be Adam Wainwright on the mound, I thought, nope, the Dodgers are not going to pull this one out. They're not going to win this game.
Well, you were wrong.
Yep, I was.
Wainwright only threw 3 innings, gave up 6 hits and 4 runs. Bright spot for them was that Yadi got the sole RBI for the Cardinals in their 4-1 loss. Freddie back in the lineup, and he and Trey each had a hit. Will Smith 2 for 4, and really good catch by Joey Gallo.
Yes, to end the game. That was excellent. Excellent catch, and ended it on a spectacular note with an awesome catch. Nice to see also on the mound, Michael Grove started, went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, had a walk and 3 strikeouts. Then Brusdar Graterol, like I said, and nice to see him back off of the injured list. He pitched an inning, gave up no runs, had a strikeout. But then Andre Jackson is back. He was called up, and he goes 3 innings, gives up 2 hits but no runs, had 3 strikeouts, and very appreciative of Joey Gallo's catch, because it could have started something for the Cardinals. But it was nice to see these guys that are just coming up being called up: Michael Grove, Andre Jackson, Ryan Pepio had pitched before, to see the talent that is coming up through the Dodger ranks.
The Dodgers head down to San Diego, so just a bus trip down to take on the Drags at Petco Park. And then they've got Colorado in for 6, and that'll close out the season. So enjoy the games versus San Diego, since you don't get to watch the rest of them, the final 6 games of the season. Let's take a look at our players of the week. Who you got?
I went with Will Smith this week. He was 8 for 20 .400 average, 2 RBIs, 2 home runs, 2 triples. Was really close to maybe getting that cycle, and it didn't happen.
I kept Saturday night. He got that. He had hit the home run first off, got the triple, and then I kept thinking, all we need is a double and a lousy single, and he's hit for the cycle. And then I would have seen not only his very first walk-off home run, because I was there when he hit that, and his first home run as a Dodger was a walk.
Yeah.
And I would have seen him hit for the cycle. That would have been awesome, but it didn't happen.
Well, and Oral Hershiser said, "Oh, the triple, that's the hardest to hit." But I think it's a single.
Sometimes, yeah, especially if you're trying to hit that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to get those. But, yeah, he got that triple, which was cool. All right, so Will Smith for you. I went with Michael Grove this week. You know, overall, it wasn't a great week as far as, like, both of his outings, but he had 2 outings. Solid, more solid in the second one versus the Cardinals than he was in the first one. But I just, you know, hey, he's getting better. He's moving up and could be a piece that they want to carry on with going into the playoffs with so many pitchers being down. And now we don't know, you know, what that's going to look like. What's going on with Tony Gonsolin? What's going on, you know, with the overall pitching staff? Where's Craig Kimbrell now? Where does he play into all this? So he had a pretty good. He pitched 10 innings over the week, a 3.60 ERA, struck out 10, only walked 4, and gave up 6 runs, and grabbed 2 victories on the week. Time to figure out what the silver linings were for the Angels over their 6-game week, taking on the Rangers and the Minnesota Twins. Learned something interesting. Matt Duffy is the Ranger killer. He's hitting like almost 400 in his career versus the Rangers. He was like at 370 something last time I saw. Didn't necessarily have Silver Linings Award winning series against them, but he did get some key hits during that. So we'll start off, kind of run through what happened in Texas. 2 teams that aren't playing for anything, just playing out the string. Game 1, Patrick Sandoval on the mound, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, struck out 7. Matt Duffy, 3 for 4 in that game, 2 RBIs and a home run. Mike Ford, 3 for 4. And Joe Adell, who's not getting a lot of playing time, but took advantage of it this time, was 2 for 3 as they beat the Rangers 5-2. Next game out, they swapped places and let the Rangers win one, 7-2. Of course, it was Tucker Davidson on the mound, as you shouldn't be surprised by the fact that they got beat because he's on there. However, the big talk throughout the game was that they'd worked with him on his windup and his delivery, which helped give him a little more control. And for the first time, he walked nobody. 0 walks for Tucker Davidson. So that's a big thing.
That is a silver lining.
It is indeed. He threw 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 of the 7 runs. It was Rob Zaptrinzi. I didn't bother to look up it. I'd never heard of him. Anyway, didn't get any outs in his outing. Faced 3 batters, gave up 2 hits and 3 runs. So not a good outing for him. Shohei, 2 for 4. Taylor Ward, 2 RBIs and a home run. It was Nathaniel Lowe and Corey Seager driving the Rangers' offense in that game. And finally, Game 3, another L for the Angels. So they win 1 of the 3. Michael Lorenzen on the mound. 5 innings pitched, only give up 2 hits and 3 runs. Struck out 7, but he can thank his friend Aaron Loop for blowing the save and them being them ending up getting that 5-3 loss. Martin Perez on the hill for the Rangers. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs. Corey Seager with a home run was 1 for 4, and Marcus Semien 2 for 3 with an RBI.
Yeah, nothing exciting at the grill.
No, Trout 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Geef 2 for 5. They didn't really do anything at all. They packed up and headed to Minnesota. The Twins at that point were kind of still hanging on. Maybe not so much for the AL Central title, but at least for wild card. And I think technically they're still in the wild card as of the weekend, but right on that edge. They're almost eliminated.
Yeah.
And unlike what the Angels did in Cleveland to help out the Gardners, Gardines. The Gardines. Isn't that like a veggie meat thing? Gardine, I think, is what it's called. You can find it in your freezer section. No, they do not. They do not sponsor the show. Anyway, so
but if you'd like to,
yeah. Hey, by all means. Shohei on the mound for the first game in the Twin Cities. 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, walked 6, but struck out 7. And he passed the 200 strikeout mark for the season. First time he's ever done that. Taylor Ward, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs with a home run. Matt Duffy, 1 for 4. Levon Soto, 2 for 3. Trout and Shohei both had an RBI apiece. So Shohei contributing to his own cause in a 4-2 win over the Twins. Game 2 kind of fell apart. Reed Detmers on the mound went 4 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, struck out 2, and was replaced by Mike Myers, who gave up 3 runs on 3 hits over 2 1/3 innings, and they end up losing that one 8-4. So, not a whole lot to talk about on that one. They didn't.
No, it was pretty much just all Twins, no Angels.
So, the third game, the wrap-up game, and the rubber game, the rubber match, saw Jose Suarez on the hill going against former teammate Dylan Bundy. Suarez goes 5 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 2 runs, struck out 6. Bundy, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 Ks. Mike Trout, 3 for 4, and had a home run and 2 doubles, scored 3 runs, and had an RBI. Shohei, 2 for 5 with an RBI. Max Stassi, 2 RBIs, along with Levon Soto, 2 RBIs, both 2 for 5. Michael Stefanik and Matt Thaiss, both with 2 hits in this. As the Angels collect up 16 hits as a team and thump the Twins 10-3.
Yeah, Mike Trout had 3 extra base hits in the game for the 11th time in his career and for the 2nd time this season. And that happened since I don't know.
The Angels wrap up there and heading back home to take on Oakland, Texas, and then go to Oakland to finish the season. Play out the string with 2 other teams that are doing exactly the same thing. The only thing Oakland is playing for is to make sure they don't win too many games and end up moving to 4th place. The Angels in Texas, I guess, can fight out to see who's going to be in 3rd, because as of the weekend, Texas had moved back up into 3rd place because the Angels just don't want it, I guess. Silver Linings Award winner.
This week I went with Taylor Ward.
As did I.
All right. 6 RBIs, had 2 home runs, a couple of doubles, I think, sprinkled in there.
Scored 5 runs on his own, hit .318, and it was 3 home runs.
Oh, it's 3 home runs. Okay, I missed one. But he was consistent, and I know that he has in the past been, in previous seasons, has had that award. Doesn't seem like he's been kind of quiet this season. So it's nice to see a consistency other than Luis Rengifo. Still want him to be consistent, but want others to follow.
Right.
Let it rub off.
Exactly. You want more consistency from more players. Maybe next season.
Maybe.
Time to hop in the dugout cart and take a ride around baseball. One thing that we have to talk about, because normally we've been starting off with some minor league stuff. Next week, we'll share with you who won the different playoff series and who won the championships in their leagues for the different minor league leagues that there are. Some of them are already done. Some of them, like the AAA, we talked about the AAA championship that'll pit the Pacific Coast League winner versus the International League winner. Will be in Vegas over the weekend, so we'll talk about that next week. But you sent this to me, and then I saw it in 2 or 3 other places. Apparently, the Hill at Isotope Stadium is going away.
It is. Major League Baseball has said for the safety of the players, it's got to go. But that hill has been either spectacular plays are made or you get hit in the head with the ball. I don't know. It's either or. The best one I ever saw, he became one with the hill, was Raimel Tapia, who was with the Rockies and then was traded to the Blue Jays and now is in Toronto. But he knew that hill and he made spectacular plays out there all the time. So it's sad because it is part of the lab. It's part of the whole, just everything about that stadium. And now it's being Manfreded and it will be gone. So
farewell to the Hill. Now, I did hear, and I don't know when this happens, but I think before the last game or after the last game, fans are going to be able to go down there and take pictures in front of the Hill.
Yes. Yeah. And my favorite was they have a video and they talk to different players. They talk to the general manager, but they talk to the groundskeeper, the head guy. And he says, "We will miss you. And as you are in heel heaven."
Yeah, that was all kind of fun. The fun that they did that. You could see, though, some of them were like, oh, this is kind of sad. Even though they were, they
some
were
of them were
joke,
like,
but
get rid of the hill. I never want to see it again. And that's what it was. It was really, you had to know it was there because it was either you made a spectacular catch or you didn't. There was no in between.
So we'll check in next season to see how things are without the hill in Albuquerque. I gotta bring up something about a crazy game that happened this week after the MLB Players of the Week.
Well, there is a trio this week for Players of the Week. Stephen Kwan represents the American League, and he was given Player of the Week honors. And then Pete Alonso joins Albert Pujols as the NL Players of the Week. Stephen Kwan, we talked about his rookie season. He batted .438, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. His best performance came in Sunday's game. He had a 3-hit day, including a grand slam, 2 stolen bases. That was the game where the Guardians clinched the AL Central. So nothing better than to have a spectacular game and then have your team clinch the division. And then, of course, Albert Pujols, what did he do this week? Hit number 699 and number 700 to join a very elite club. Everybody's going crazy for him, but as he had 5 RBIs in that game. But during the week, he still managed. He had 368 batted, 368 across 6 games, scoring, and then had scored 3 runs. This is his 14th time as Player of the Week and his second time winning the award this year. And then we head to Citi Field, where we haven't heard much about Pete Alonso this season. But this week, he had 4 home runs of his own. He drove in 13. He has a league-leading 128 RBIs. The Mets clinched a spot in the postseason. And in that game, he hit a 3-run home run. So another, good game for him. And then the team wins the division. This is the second time that he has won the Player of the Week award. The first time was in June of 2019. And he's the second Met to win the award this year as he joins his teammate, Francisco Lindor. So a trio of Players of the Week.
Sweet. Yeah, Albert always deserves it. I don't care if he did anything or not.
Yeah.
So, crazy game between the Royals and the Mariners. Mariners are up. And then, like 10-0 or something like that, 10-2. And the Royals come back and score 11 runs in 1 inning to beat the Mariners 13-12 in this game. Just crazy. And you wonder, Seattle's a playoff team. When you see them play like that, you're like, how did this happen? It was crazy. No home runs in the game for Seattle. They had an 8-run 5th inning, but it was the 11th run 6th inning, and the Royals had 1 home run. And it just was like, this is weird. How do you let this happen? But they did. That was like one of the craziest, not since like the Rangers scored 30 back in like 2017 or something like that, or 2007 or whenever it was.
Yeah. 1956. Oh,
in 1899, the team that would eventually go on to be the Rangers.
Yeah.
Some 90 years later or whatever, 80 years later.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. Crazy game. I also, thinking about the Royals, I've heard some stories about Zach Greinke, and we all know he's kind of a eccentric guy. But he was sitting on the bench with teammate Nicky Lopez. He says, I was on the bench with him, and we were facing someone who really liked cats. And I was like, you can't trust anyone who likes cats. And Zach Greinke says, yeah, man, you really can't. And the other guy says, well, this Lopez, he says, I like dogs. You got any, Zach? And Zach goes, nah, I would never get dogs. I've got a cat, though. That kind of encapsulates Zach Greinke and who he is.
Right.
Thinking of the Royals, throw in a Zach Greinke story. I did promise that I would tell you who qualifies to go on to the World Baseball Classic, and Great Britain and the Czech Republic outlasted the field in Germany to clinch spots in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Great Britain, first time ever in the World Baseball Classic. So good luck to them and congratulations. And the second round of qualifiers begins tomorrow in Panama City, Panama, with New Zealand taking on Brazil, and Pakistan will be playing Argentina. We'll keep you abreast of those qualifying rounds and who wins. But yeah, really cool for Great Britain as they are going to their first. Well, I mentioned last week that David Price is going to retire, and I had said maybe we need a wheel of retirement. But instead, I think we need a retirement ship, a boat, the Bon Voyage, because David Price will be joined on this boat by Kurt Suzuki, who is a current Angel, he is going to retire once the season is over. It will come the day after his 39th birthday. He told Jeff Fletcher of the Orange County Register that he just feels like it's time. He's had a great run. He won a World Series, been in an All-Star game. He played 16 seasons. He says, I've accomplished a lot of things that I never would have dreamed of. I just felt like it's time for the next chapter. My 3 kids, all they've known is baseball. So he's going to spend time with his family. He began his professional career in 2004 as a second-round pick of the A's out of Cal State Fullerton. He made it to Oakland 3 years later. And then he was the A's primary catcher. And then, of course, we know he was with the Nationals when he won the World Series. And then he's been a really good asset for the Angels, especially being a mentor in the clubhouse. Not to be outdone, another catcher who also was an A. He is a 2-time All-Star and I guess a fan favorite, Stephen Voigt. He's decided to also retire at the end of the season, and he was originally a 12th round pick by the Rays in 2007. He made his major league debut in Tampa in 2012 at the age of 27. He went hitless in all 25 of his at-bats during his first season, and then he was traded to Oakland the following April. And so he also will be walking up to the boat, to the Bon Voyage. So it's docked right now, so if there are any more players, we'll put them on the boat. But so far, we got 3.
I'm sure there'll be more as we go.
Also have big news out of San Francisco. The Giants announced that Buster Posey is an owner. He has purchased an unknown minority share in the Giants ownership group, and he will serve on the Giants board of directors. So that's probably a good move for the Giants, especially to have someone with the stature of Buster Posey.
Yeah, that's always cool. I always wonder about that. How many players are interested in moving on to ownership?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I think it's probably more you would think, oh yeah, that guy, he'd be a really good manager, or a good, somewhere in the dugout, clubhouse, but, owner. So we'll see. But yeah. So big news coming out of San Francisco for that. Also, I don't know if Don Mattingly will be joining Price and Vogt and Suzuki on the Bon Voyage. But Don Mattingly will not be back as manager of the Marlins next season. Doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised that he is still there, to be honest. But his contract expires when the season ends. He met with the owners, the general manager, and they all agreed that it is time for a change in Miami. So it'll be interesting because you'll have openings in Miami. We don't know what's going to happen with the Angels because Phil Nevin is still an interim manager. You had the Blue Jays. Will they get a new manager? Will they keep their interim manager? So there'll be some managerial changes for the 2023 season. We'll have to keep an eye out on that because
I would think the Blue Jays, if they do well in the playoffs, you might see that they'll keep him around. If they don't, then they'll consider, and they're going to look and see who else is available out there.
Yeah.
before. Bringing all that up reminded me of that, last week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Joe Madden, and when he said about that there's baseball thinking and then there's analytics thinking, and that it's getting too heavy on one side and not enough baseball thinking. And the other day, watching, MLB Tonight, Pedro Martinez was kind of saying, and I've heard some other former players and baseball people are starting to come out and kind of say these things, is that he said something along the lines of there's baseball stuff and then there's analytics stuff. And there's baseball thinking. You have to think in a different way than what all the numbers are. He says, I'm not against the numbers. We need the numbers. But sometimes you can't manage a whole game off of just of those numbers. There's things that happen that are only baseball things that the numbers aren't going to explain. And as long as you're trying to do that, then so I'm wondering if, because Pedro's come out, obviously Joe Madden's come out and said that. There's been a couple of other guys who have come out. If we're going to start maybe seeing, so the balance is there's no balance. It's all one side. Everybody's all tilted over towards analytics at whatever cost.
Yeah, and I think it's to the detriment of the game, where you have, when you rely too much on the analytics and you don't have just baseball smarts.
Right. If you're out there thinking constantly about what is happening in the game from an analytics standpoint, then you're missing, the other parts. If you're standing on base thinking, well, what are my percentage chances to go, then you're not thinking about the game in the right way. And that's becoming part of the problem. And I think that's part of what's wrong with the game now. Why we're not seeing, the things, the stolen bases, the base hits, the things that they want to make happen in the game went away because people take too long to throw the ball, or they're waiting for a specific pitch to hit, so they strike out more often than not. Then we have the calls. I was just talking about the other day that how many low pitches does Aaron Judge get called for? And if there was the robo-ump, he probably wouldn't. He'd have more pitches to hit because they're getting him out on a lot of low strikes that are below his knees. But it fits into the view of what the umpire sees. He's like 6'7". He's not, it kind of works against him. So little things like that. It's like, do I want to see robo-umps? I didn't. But more and more as I watch some of these umpires, I'm like, yeah, maybe we need to consider doing that. If for only to get them motivated to call the game better.
Yeah, I was just thinking while you were talking about, not only about robo-umps, but we know that we're going to see bigger bases. We're going to see the pitch clock and the end of the shift next season. So how will that all play into analytics? And will we get back? Maybe it'll be like a pendulum and kind of get back more to a baseball smarts instead of just relying on the computer to tell us where to stand and what to hit and what to do.
The only thing that we can't really do with analytics is figure out when somebody's going to end up on the wheel. Oh, I hit.
Luis Robert was placed on the 10-day IL with a sprained left wrist, basically ending the season for the center fielder of the White Sox. Charlie Blackmon is listed as day-to-day with a left hamstring injury. Chris Bryant, everybody couldn't figure out why would he sign with the Rockies. what was that about? And then we hardly ever saw Chris Bryant. He spent most of his season spinning on the IL, and he is out for the season. Had this last injury was a foot injury. He just never made it off the IL. And so hopefully for the Rockies, at least, and for their fans, they will see, maybe a resurgence for Chris Bryant and get to see the real, it's like, will the real Chris Bryant please stand up? Because we don't know where he is.
Will the real Chris Bryant please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
Luis Perdomo of the Brewers is on the 15-day IL with a right calf strain. No timetable for when he will be back. Byron Buxton is out for the season. He will have knee surgery. And the Twins, who were, we talked about it when the Angels were in town. They were within, maybe on that edge with the wild card, but yeah, they're out. DJ LeMahieu is scheduled. They're hoping he'll be back in time for postseason. He's been having toe issues. I'm not sure. He has inflammation in his right big toe, and not sure if he will be back in time. Also, Frankie Montas, I mentioned him. He's still on the IL. He has right shoulder inflammation, and he is not expected to return until the postseason. Ramon Laureano is out for the season with a hamstring injury. Brad Hand is on the 15-day injured list with left elbow tendonitis, so he is out for the Phillies. This one I'm going to mention early because he's not quite on the IL, and if he jumps on the wheel, he might just be on the IL. But that is Nick Castellanos. He is sidelined with a right oblique injury, and
what?
Not sure if he will be playing this week.
Oblique, my side. My side.
Some of these guys are just like, they are just been spinning. Julio Rodriguez is on the 10-day injured list. He has tightness in his lower back. He will, because it's the end of the season and they are looking forward to the postseason, he's going to remain idle until the postseason. Jesse Winker has a left wrist contusion, so he's listed as a day-to-day. And then for the Dodgers, Dustin May, another Dodger pitcher, is on. I don't know why I chuckle, but another Dodger pitcher on the IL. He has lower back tightness. He's on the 15-day IL. Of course, we know pitchers have 15-day instead of the 10. Doesn't really seem, it's just kind of more, and we probably saw that there was something going on in his last start because it was not a great start. But they're just going to keep him under wraps and, hope that they can, that he will be ready when it is their time to play in the postseason. Kevin Pillar, who has been out all season. He did play in Oklahoma City, got called up, and then he broke his shoulder. He was expected to be out for the entire season, and he is back. He is back in Oklahoma City, and playing and feeling good. So, good for him. Yancy Almonte is making a rehab start and hopefully be back early October. Tony Gonsolin also making a rehab start in Oklahoma City. He made that start this week. things are, I think, looking up. The only question mark is Blake Trinan. He is, has that tightness in his right shoulder. He really needed to go ahead and have that surgery because he has a tear. And I think that's the problem. I think he can throw and then he feels good, comes off the IL, and then goes right back on because there's more there. And I'd rather see him be really healthy for next season than, totally just maybe do something worse with his shoulder. Daniel Hudson, we know, is out for the season. He has a torn left ACL, but he has signed an extension with the Dodgers. So he's still spinning, but he's got an extension. And then this one is the one I was going to save for last. He is the man. He is the mustache. And that is Spencer Strider, who is on the 15-day IL with an left oblique strain.
Oblique, oblica, omasa, ow, other side. Ow, my side.
And that will do it for the Wheel of IL. Lots of guys still just spinning around and have been off and on for the season. I kind of think it's more like a Ferris wheel where, you have the buckets and one guy's just there and another guy, gets off and then another player jumps on. So we have
Those
added.
guys have been stuck at the top for a long time.
For a long time, yeah. So we got the wheel, and then of course this week we have the
boat,
the Bon
boat of
Voyage.
retirement.
Yes. And we have one more. I've got one more thing that I failed to mention, and he was going to be a free agent, but the Mariners said, well, I don't think so. And that would be Luis Castillo. He has signed a 5-year, $108 million extension with the Mariners. The deal could be worth up to $133 million based on vesting options for the 2028 season. He also has a full no trade clause for the first full season, first 3 seasons of this extension.
Will the Mariners be able to build something strong along with him and Julio Rodriguez and J.P. Crawford and Ty France and that? And all right, time to put the tarp back on the field and get settled in since your season's essentially over. As far as Dodgers go, we'll get ready for the playoffs next week. I think I'm alone next week. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Vegas.
So I will be. Oh, you're going for the AAA championship, are you?
No, no, we are going to a concert that we have been waiting to go to for 2 years now, and we will finally see this concert. We're going to go see Roger Waters in concert. It will be my 7th time seeing him, Planet Head's 9th time, and then my boys, Billy's seen him twice, and Baden this will be his first, so that'll be exciting for him. So,
sweet.
All big Pink Floyd fans.
All right, so you guys go do that. I, on the other hand, will be holding down the fort, as they say. And like I said, we'll talk about who won in the playoffs for the minor leagues. We'll talk, and we'll finish up the season, because next time we do this, the regular season will be over. So we'll talk about what happened in the last games of the season for both the Dodgers, the Angels, and anything else that might pop up. We'll know all of that when we fire the Sibling Rivalry Baseball podcast machine up next week. So we'll see you then. And don't forget to find us on our social media pages, Twitter, Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Instagram and Facebook at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A. And then check out our website, siblingrivalrybb.com, where you can click on those Fanatics links and get your postseason gear. Get ready to support your team.
So have a great week. We'll talk to you next time, or I'll talk to you next time. And don't forget to swing away.